So that was weird though. Like, who decided that we needed to know what our favorite athletes look like as women and that they're hot?
I think everybody should know that stuff, right?
I need to now know, am I going to be hot? Will I
I
be
mean,
hot?
I think your mustache will show up. So
You think?
by default, doesn't matter how feminine your features are. I think if you have a big curly mustache, it's probably like a hard pass.
I mean, but think about it. If you saw like a super hot chick with a mustache like this, be like,
yeah.
I mean, is it a deal breaker for you?
Yeah, I think it's a deal breaker.
As great as the mustache, like, no, I still got to pass on that.
Yeah, I think that's an easy deal breaker. Like, it's not it's like, whoa, mustache.
Like, great mustache, but you're a chick.
Hey, and like, whatever, like to each their own. Like we said this before, the heart wants what the heart wants. That's just not what mine wants.
Ever. Like, that's weird for me personally. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Welcome to our show. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. We're going to get right into this. The Canucks are trash.
Oh, man.
Also, hi, Ted. Good to see you.
Hey, how are you?
We're hoping Brady can get in here as well. But we got to get going. It's a special Friday PP1 Podcast. The Canucks, I got some thoughts. It's not good. I don't think I can wait for a 10-game or a 20-game losing streak or an iffy streak. Things are bad already. Like, bad. Like, you saw the game from last night. And, like, I had this Thursday night football game on, and I'm watching the Canucks at the same time. Like, what game is worse? And I ended up siding with the football game as my viewership of choice. Because the Canucks game was getting so bad. Like, I needed a break from it. I did. I needed a break from the Canucks because it was too bad. And we've talked about the Canucks in ad nauseum of how bad this team has been. Where right now, like, where does this rank for you?
It's bad, right? I mean, I took the night off, right? Last night I didn't watch any hockey. I had some family in town, so all the Fijians were there, so we had a big feast and stuff. So any hockey watching that I did have to be done after the fact, after I already knew that it was a terrible, awful loss. And I just think we're at that point now where it's like, okay, it was one bad game, or it was two bad games, or it was like a shitty road trip or a shitty homestand. And now it's like some of its parts, right? It's starting to add up now, where we're talking about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bad seasons. You sprinkle in a couple of good ones in there, and it's like, it's a dumpster fire right now. It looks really bad. Like, even that whole game. Yeah. It was like, how many times? I mean, I think Demko only had 26 shots on him, right? I mean, he was pacing for maybe 30, 34 shots. Like, that's not unheard of. We're used to seeing this stuff, but it was like everything was, the guy needs to make a 5-alarm save.
It was all Demko.
Followed up by a rebound that he had to give up because he had to make a save like that.
Because the human body he's not Dominic Hasek.
No, he's not. And he's not, Stretch Armstrong either, right? So followed up by a man ready and waiting on a rebound. No coverage. There's nobody backing him up. Doesn't seem like there's any puck support. Like, there is some fundamental things going on with this team that need to be corrected in a hurry. And we've been saying that for a long time. Like I said, sprinkled in with some good stuff, but
it was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be different this year. Like,
yeah, but
that was the big sell.
We've been told it's supposed to be different every year.
Yeah,
right?
But that was the big sell. They go and get OEL. They get Connor Garland, which we were, excited about. They go and sign Jason Dickinson, or traded and then signed for him. Like, they're actually making moves. Jack Rathbone looked like a for sure thing to make this team. We didn't know what was going on with Hamonic. We didn't know what's going on Ferland. But overall, we believed, okay, Demko's going to make a step. We're going to get PD and Hughes back to long-term
I think
deals.
Demko's made a step.
Oh, he has. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm talking about the global bill of goods that we were sold. And now we're at a point where, yeah, Demko has absolutely been unreal. Like, I still want to say bubble Demko, but, I mean, the dude is elite. He is an elite.
How about, like, Team USA Demko?
Well, we're getting there, right? I mean, how crazy is that if he's playing on a team this bad and he's still good enough to be one of the best goaltenders in the world, like, on that level? where you're actually almost, if it's Canada, US, you're like, well, Demko's in that. Maybe I cheer for USA, which is you don't do that. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. You don't do that. But I'm kind of saying, like, there was all this sell, and we all knew too, like, this wasn't a great team to begin, but at the same time, we thought, okay, it can't get worse. Like, there has to be, some kind of progression, right?
Mm-hmm. I think almost every year though, Ryan. Maybe not last year. Last year, people were like, okay, this is going to be a fallback year, right, which I was pissed about. If you remember, I was like, no, like, why should it be a fallback year? Just because management did such a terrible job of handling its contracts and its resources, right? Like, how do you go from making a nice little playoff run to knowing you're having a fallback year? Right. That's a joke, right? It should be progression. That wasn't our window when we made that playoff run, right? That was like an accident. So now it's a fallback year. So I would say that the last 3 or 4 years prior to that, hope springs eternal. In the preseason, people were excited about this team. This year, people were excited about this team, not last year, the year before last. People were excited about this team the year before that. And the year before that. Like, this hasn't really changed, right? So,
no.
I mean, at what point are you on your last strike, right?
And I don't know.
When do you run out of lead time? Like, there's, coaching is not absolved in this stuff. Travis Green is not free from saying this isn't your fault, right? We've done so many of these takes where it was like, oh, you haven't given Green the horses, blah, 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 right? Well, he's got some horses now. He's also got a lot of holes, right? I mean, you shouldn't be, if you're talking about Rathbone and Burrows as your third pairing, like, there's probably some issues in your defensive lineup, right? So, not to mention the fact that this team is just getting shit kicked.
Like, last night was a great example. Like, they were outclassed from the first minute.
Oh, it was
and then it gets to 3-0. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to hold on to one thing, it's that the 3-0 lead is the worst league in hockey. And then they scored 4. I'm like, okay, it's over.
And I said a couple of weeks ago too, right? I was like, oh, maybe this is the win, right? Maybe this is the galvanizing win to push this team forward. And apparently not, right? So
no.
So I know that as a GM, usually your get out of jail free card is to, like, cut ties with your coach. But, like, if Jim has made so many good moves over the last, 5-6 years or whatever, and removed the Canucks from so many high-end picks, right? First and second round draft picks over the years, should this team not be competing? And if Green was the problem, I'm just going to theorize here, because generally I like Travis Green, but there's lots of things that he does that I'm not a huge fan of. But generally, if you're a Green fan and you can theorize that it's his fault, well, then when does it become Jim's fault for putting this team together and then keeping this coach on if this coach was an issue? Because you put together a squad that theoretically is supposed to compete for a playoff spot this year, and then you went ahead and put the wrong coach in place. So something's got to give, right? And I don't know how many more chances Jim and Green can be given before this team needs to be. Because if you truly believe that there's talent on this team, and I believe there is, then where's the push? Where does the responsibility lie? Does the responsibility lie in the architect, or does the responsibility lie on the head coach, or is it both? But it's time for some sort of change here, because it's not working. It's not working.
No, it's not. And I'm not one. I hate doing, like, the old coach thing, because it's so easy to say, oh, just get rid of the coach. And yeah, there's probably a few guys like Bruce Boudreau would be great, or Gallant. Like, there are coaches.
Gallant, Boudreau, Bilsma. There's lots of guys out there.
There are, sure. But is that, like, right now? Let's just say tomorrow or tonight we find out that Travis Green gets camped. Okay. And then they sign one of these coaches, or they have, I mean, you can't have Jason King running this team.
It probably helps.
So but like, normally on a team that realistically should be better than they are, usually, like, maybe there's some kind of catalyst movement that, that the firing, and then maybe they're like, okay, guys, like, clearly, like, the heads are going to start to roll. We might see someone get traded or whatever. So then they maybe win a few games. Now, where does Benning fit on that then? And then is the team then off the hook? They're not.
No.
So like how good, like realistically, if things are going well, how good is this team? And if it isn't good, like if there isn't any inclination, like, yep, they can turn it around and make a legitimate push. And I saw someone post this yesterday, like the whole point of owning this team is get to the playoffs, make gate in the playoffs. That's where all the extra money's made, because you can only make so much money during the regular season, and it's playoff gate that is where you take all that profit. Well, they used to just swim in that. They just like a lap pool.
Ryan,
just jump in like Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge McDuck.
This team was so successful before, and I don't understand how you can, as an owner, go through being so successful with your franchise and understanding what it takes to have a winning record and what that recipe for success looks like, and then spend 8 years languishing. 8 years.
And then you go 2 seasons in a pandemic.
2 seasons in a pandemic. One of the longest tenured GMs in the league. Probably one of the longest coaches tenured in the league as well. How can you not make changes? How can you not make changes if you're not seeing success? Look at the Browns. I'm just going to use this as an example because this is my team. Look at the Browns and having arguably a superior talent in OBJ playing for them.
Yeah,
I'll say the OBJ that came from New York right off the bat was a superior talent. He was a little bit nicked up, all that stuff, right?
Right.
But 3 years of being in Cleveland produced no results, right? OBJ knew it was time to go. The Cleveland Browns knew it was time to go. They tried to make it work. It wasn't working. They tried again. It wasn't working. Talent trumps talent, and it just wasn't fitting this time around. So make a change, right? Some sort of change hasn't. It's either that, and if people love this team so much, and they do, and people love the talent that's on this roster, and it's not Jimbo's fault, and then you got the Green crowd saying it's not Green's fault.
Yeah.
If it's not either of those guys and push can't come to shove, then when do we start moving players out? Like, okay, you have to start talking about making wholesale changes here. You got to start talking about making big changes, because this is the other theoretical, right? You either use the coach, you either move the GM, heck, maybe you move both. And if you don't do that, then you have to start moving on from your talent. And there's all sorts of talent on this roster that I like. I love.
But is it complacent? Are they complacent now?
I don't know. It's tough to know. It's tough to know with the current coaching format. There's lots of moves that I loved the Dickinson move. I thought it was a phenomenal move. The guy looks like a downright liability.
Okay, I want to get into that. I want to get into the Dickinson. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
Where has Jason Dickinson been?
He's there.
Not really.
I mean,
he has one goal, 4 PIMs, and other than that, I haven't noticed him a whole lot. Like, he hasn't been a difference maker. I don't think.
He's there. He's out there. He's skating around. He's somewhat doing his job, but he's horribly miscast right now as an NHL 3C. The guy can't win a faceoff to save his life.
So do you bump him like 4?
Instantly you lose. I'm not sure that he can be a 4th line NHL center if you're only winning like 30% of your draws. Like, what the hell do we bring this guy in for?
Well, and that's what
I'm sure he's doing work throughout the neutral zone, and I'm sure he's doing work during possession and in the defensive zone, and he looks good. Like, he looks all right. But when you start with the puck, without the puck, that often, like, you're bound to get your teeth kicked in. Ask Manny Malhotra why he was so decent on possession numbers, right? It's pretty easy to be good in possession numbers and control play and start from the defensive zone if you win like 60% of your faceoffs.
Yeah.
And just like that, on the other side of the scale, it's that easy to look terrible when you're only winning like 30 some odd percent of your faceoffs. Like, man, Dickinson, downright liability right now. Like, maybe, I mean, he's still a good player. Obviously, he could be a winger or something like that. But then you have to be looking at his like shutdown line. Who's your next center that's going to be taking draws? It's not good, Ryan.
I just, like, I look at him and I was thinking, like, I know they play essentially a different position, but it's like reliving Antoine Roussel, but what we thought was going to be the actual version of what we should have got, but at center. And I'm just like, the really tough thing is, and we're not like a stat heavy podcast show, whatever, but
well, that's not what the show's about, right?
It's but I don't care about like the fancy stats. I don't care about the advanced stats in this case. Like, there still has to be like when you have to start looking at advanced stats. And again, I'm not pooing on that because I believe heavily that they are important
Yeah, absolutely
in
they
a
are.
lot of areas. But when you start saying, "Oh, well, the guy's good in his own zone, or the guy's doing this, or he's doing that, or his expected goals," what are his actual goals like? What are his actual assists like? What does he do on the power play if that's where he's supposed to be? What does he look like on the penalty kill? If the actual numbers, the statistics that we grew up with aren't
Hmm.
even good, and you have to start looking deeper than that just to say this guy is good or this guy is kind of good, that's a problem.
I'll challenge you a bit on that.
Like, and I'm not saying like I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket, but I'm also saying if I have to dig, and again, he may be an advanced stats darling, and I'm just looking up a natural stat trick, but if that's it, if that's the only thing that you can hang your hat on right now, like that worries me because then I start having to look at other guys, and then I start thinking like, oh, better, when Louis Eriksson, I remember writing an article on this a couple of years ago, and his advanced stats were actually really good, like his
Well, they weren't
possession number.
they weren't really good. Like they were they
But
were
they were. He was a lot better player than
then his points dictated.
Yeah, and then I started looking like, okay, well, there's something to hold on to, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. I'm like, that's not even true anymore.
Yeah, but that's a player declining over time, right? Like if you tell me, we'll use Jake Virtanen as an example,
Okay,
right? 18 goal Jake.
sure.
And you're looking at, he's skating out there with like, a 17% shooting percentage.
Hmm.
Like that's not attainable.
No,
Like
it's unrealistic.
he's got goals, but you're looking at a shooting percentage that's not attainable. And then you could be looking the other direction. You could be looking at a forward who's just getting an absolute shitload of shots on net, but isn't scoring.
Yep.
Like obviously, when you look at those kind of numbers and you look at expected goals, you're looking at probably what the guy's producing without scoring at that very moment, right? Like you have to think that that's going to even out and tip the scale at some point, and he's going to start putting those pucks in net. Just like you're going to have to think at some point it's going to even out, and Jake's going to stop shooting at a 17% clip, and he's going to fall back down to earth. And when he falls back down to earth, and he starts only getting 5 or 6%, which is very normal, say,
Right.
5 or 6% on 1 to 2 shots a game is not going to cut it for goals. And all of a sudden you're looking at a player who maybe now got a contract that he shouldn't have because he was scoring at a better clip than he really was. Or you're looking at getting a deal on somebody who maybe should have been scoring at a better clip, but wasn't, and was just snake bitten. So I do believe in that sense that analytics are very, very important, and they do play an important role. But we have to be able to see that to say for a guy like Dickinson that you are still a valuable player on this roster. And I'm sure he is. And I haven't dug into the stats just yet. But right now, like eyeball test, he looks good when he's skating around out there. He looks like he handles himself in the neutral zone and the defensive zone. I mean, there's no offense to really speak of, but we knew that. But none of that can come together unless the guy starts winning draws.
So then I look at a guy like Justin Bailey, who, again, statistically, he's not burning, but his eye test, to me, he's always involved. Like he's noticeable. Bailey is racing down pucks. He's racing down icings to get there before. He's creating chances. He's mucking it up. Like I look at a guy like him and I think, okay, again, different player, different position. But if I'm looking at a guy that I still need in my lineup visually that I'm seeing make a difference, and I'm sure the coach, I mean, obviously they see different things and I'm just watching on my TV. But if I'm looking at two guys, we'll do eye test for a second and I'll look at his stats in a bit. But eye test alone, I'm thinking, okay, I can see one guy is actually making a difference on the ice, both visually because I'm looking at his emotion on the ice. I'm looking at what he's bringing play after play after play. And then I'm looking at Dickinson. In the last couple of games I've been trying, and I don't see the dig there. And he's a guy that essentially was supposed to be mucking it up, a guy that was supposed to be getting in everybody's face and kind of, being a pissant to play against. I don't see that. And I see that in a handful of other players. And he's the guy that I know I was excited for to begin the season because I thought, oh, wow, we're going to get a little bit more of that sandpaper, not like not the heavy enforcer look like we talked about, just a guy that you're not going to want to enjoy playing against because he's going to make your life a nightmare. And I don't see that right now.
I mean, even Bailey. I mean, I think the reason you notice Bailey is because he's big and he's fast and he skates so well. And he looks like he's making an impact out there because everything that happens is sort of happening with this level of explosiveness. But even his numbers are not that good. Like his Corsi 4 is like 27%. Like just not cutting it.
Yeah, and I looked, and Dickinson's at like a 53. So again,
there you go.
Or his percentage. So again, Bailey's got actually the worst Corsi on the team.
So when you look at a guy like Dickinson, he's out there and he's doing the right things, but he's handling himself. I've said it already before. He's handling himself in the defensive zone. He's handling himself in the neutral zone. Not really any offense to speak of, but like if he could just get faceoffs sorted out, then it would make him that much more of a valuable player. That's why he's probably okay playing on the wing on a checking line because he can handle himself so well. But who else takes the draws? There's nobody.
Exactly.
So they're in a shit spot.
You're already relying on Bo. You're relying on Bo already. You're relying on JT Miller to take more. Obviously, PD. Like you're relying on your big three. So do you say, hey man, we're going to cut off your face-offs, and now we're going to put more emphasis on the guys that are doing well. Now that it eats into their
if they're not already doing that.
Rate. Yeah, it eats into their success rate, and now their numbers start to dwindle because they're having to take on more of a responsibility.
Bro, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that Bo's got to be leading the league in faceoffs taken.
Oh, I looked the other day. I thought he was close, but I think he was top 5. But it just, I think, like you look at this team, and I mean,
this team is a mess.
It's a mess, but we've been okay with the mess for a while, at least at least this is going well. At least the power play is going well. At least the penalty kill. It's all garbage. It's all garbage. You look at as far as starting the game.
Well, the second line was producing for a little while. We were seeing some continuity there with like Pearson and Höglander and like seeing Podkolzin in there for a little bit. Bo's been scoring. Like we've been seeing that, but like that's not the first line guys.
But then you start looking at you start really digging. They've led in the first goal 12 of 14 games. And hey, if you were a team that you just unfortunately gave up a goal or whatever, and it just looked bad to start, but overall you were winning games, okay, then it's just one of those stats like, wow, I can't believe we always give up the first goal for whatever, and they're random reasons, right? You can think of all the reasons, like Luongo, I remember the first shot he ever faced, it went off like the backboards and like bounce off him in it. And that was a joke, like, wow, they gave up that goal. But man, they look good overall. Like overall, that team eventually figured things out. This team, the penalty kill is awful. Like unless they get just a lucky little clear out or something, the other team's going to set up, and as long as the passing's good, it's probably going to go in. Perfect example was last night. Perfect example was probably the game before and the game before that. The power play is still the same power play, and the only reason that they scored the other game and had that good night, because sometimes you're just due to score. And it happens. Even the worst teams have good games. And right now, the Canucks are one of those worst teams.
I mean, perfect example that you're talking about would be that Cale Makar pass.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how many skates did that go through? How many sticks did that go through to find the guy backdoor after Demko made like a 5-alarm save? Mm-hmm. And there was just nothing he could do.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm borderline done. I'm already.
Bo Horvat, 336. He is 40 something more than anyone else taken. He's won 22 more than Taves. He's lost 3 more than Barkov, 144. And his fate. I can't figure out the one. I got to filter it. But yeah, Bo Horvat is absolutely and he's killing it in the faceoff circle. Well, that's like his MO. But still, like, man, if you're forcing Bo to be the only guy, like that's not good. That's not good.
It's not good. Like I'm like I said, I'm never going to stop watching this team. But like I've been done with Benning for a while. Right? He's made some fun things happen throughout the course. The Connor Garland get was great. Right? I liked the Dickinson move. Right?
I did too. We got excited about that,
and I think you buy off on stuff like that, right? But now I'm also like pretty close to being done with the coaching situation because the coaching isn't getting it done, right? And like man, like Petey has been trash.
Yeah,
he's been trash. Like he's been really bad. Like we're talking about a guy who we've spoken about in many conversations that we feel like could win an Art Ross. I am not seeing that. Like, I am not seeing. You want to look at a good team. You
He
want to
can
look
win
at a way
art
that
right now. He can win an art contest right now. That's about it.
Yeah, like you want to look at what this team should be at, and look no further than the team that just handed the whipping down last game.
He could also win a Ross competition.
He could win a Rachel and Ross award. It's not good, man.
No.
And I don't. Nobody has the fix from this thing, obviously. But like at some point, I mean, this is your baby, right? We're talking about an owner. At some point, when does the owner step in and start making changes?
Knowing how he treats real estate, I'm surprised he hasn't treated his team the same way.
Yeah, it's like
I'm not even trying to be cheeky. He's
It's like he bought Bitcoin when it was like $7,000, right? And it's just been like climbing for the last 8 years, and now it's worth like, now he bought it at like $5, and now it's worth like 85 grand or something like that per coin. Except for I don't know where the value keeps increasing for the Canucks right now, because it doesn't look good.
No, I mean, you can only make so much money off of merchandise, and then there's all like you saw the Diwali thing about the jerseys, $700 for a few blank ones as well. Do you see that?
No.
So you could the jerseys that they wore on Diwali night last Friday were auctioned off. It started at $700. The ones they wore, the yellow ones, they're really cool actually.
I mean, yeah, they were sharp looking, but why would you?
So then there was also
going to a charity, or
apparently after our friend Arash from Pucks on Net did some sleuthing, they also had some 50 blank ones, which were also $700 at the team store that game. And proceeds, not all of it, went to I think was it the Punjabi market revitalization or whatever it was. Anyway, so proceeds, not all of the proceeds, but $700 for a warm-up jersey, even a style jersey. Like, there isn't a jersey out there. There isn't. I wouldn't. I mean,
it seems awful cash grabby.
But even at least like make it realistic cash grabby. You know what I mean? So that even at that point, I was just bringing up on the retail side, even at that point, you're like, like I don't need to spend $40 or $50 on a Brock Besser t-shirt. That's a little bit more than I should spend on a t-shirt. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you and I worked in it, we were selling those things for $30, and even then, we're like, wow, like I get it. There's NHLPA licensing, but like it's not a $30 t-shirt. Now they're like $45 for the exact same thing. So there's more profit, and you're thinking, okay, well, are you selling that much? Or like, I'm doing so well on the retail side that I'm okay watching my multi-million-dollar hockey team poop the bed every single night for the last 8 years.
I mean, the fans
save a weekend.
Even the most staunch Canucks supporters and the most optimistic guys, and I wish Brady was here because he's that guy on the show. I mean, they have to be calling into question what's going on with this team right now. Even if you were a Benning supporter, I mean, how many more years do you stand by your man? Like at some point, you have to be like, the guy's not the guy.
And then you play that song. If you don't stand by your man, or maybe no, you don't play that song. Or a kiss from an angel. No. Play that song. Like, standing in the next room. That'd be weird. Sorry. I'm sorry I went there. I'm sorry that this took a turn. I really am.
No, you're all good.
If you're not watching on YouTube, you should be, because you can comment. You can chat with us and voice your concerns about this Canucks team. Go over to our YouTube page and get in on the chat. Our Thanos show proved that was a lot of fun. And two of the same people from that show are on this one. Go figure. And if I didn't say it before, we're on the Dean Blundell Network. We're happy to be here. Thanks for the spot, Dean. It's a great show. We love being here. And Summer Skates, thanks for partnering with us. Kevin texted me the other day. You know who's wearing summer skates? Making a comeback in the PGA Tour. He hits about 800 yards a drive. I'll give you a hint.
DeChambeau.
He is a summer skate supporter. What
a beauty.
Oh, yeah. He's like, you see that? Like, it's the blurriest photo I've ever seen. And I look, I'm like, that's American. That's an American flag on those sandals. I'm like, yeah, those are summer skates. You can't mistake those. So Bryson DeChambeau He knows what's up, just like the PP1 podcast.
He
Feel
does
free
all
to
his
reach out.
best math when he's wearing his summer skates.
Man, have you seen me golfing
Measuring wind
lately?
velocity.
Have you seen me golfing at my house lately?
I mean, I haven't. No, I've
You
seen you
should.
golfing with me.
That counts.
I
Yeah, you
saw
should
a
go
guy
on.
actually with a weirder swing than you today.
Charles Barkley.
No, it's this dude, and he kind of like he like flicks his arm around, and then he bends his wrist all the way around, and like
What?
the back of the club is like touching the front of the ball, and then he goes like, and he just whips his wrist around
Like a samurai sword.
Yeah, and it's very strange, and he hits the ball. Look clean. I'll send it to you.
Weird. Yeah, I've been watching videos because you guys have probably seen I've got a putting green now in my backyard, which is super cool because I
Yeah,
can't
very
go
cool.
anywhere. So we spent money on our house instead. And so I've been trying to figure out my short game. So I've been putting, got my phone set up, just taping shots, just so if I get a good one, I can brag. And so I've been watching. I'm like, wow, that does look really, really weird on the cross grip. But the thing is, to me, it's super natural, and I couldn't hit it another way. So what you guys see and what I have seen from a distance looks horrendous, and I get why I look crazy, but I'm figuring my game out. I've started to nail a decent amount of shots on that green. I've got about, I think I'm up to about 6 or 7 chip ins.
Do you
from
ever
about 40 feet.
Do you ever plan on correcting your hand
Just for
placement?
putting? Just for putting. I've been able to do it just for putting, just because there's no extra power involved in that. And my putting's been pretty good too. But yeah, it's kind of fun. I was just saying, if you want to go see me on Instagram when it comes to that, my dog has like 900 views from that.
Do you chip in from the lawn, or do you chip in from the turf, or what?
So I got like a little mat made up from like the leftovers. And so I go like right at a rock wall, which is like 45 feet away. And so it's got a high grass and a low grass. I just hit out of the high grass so I don't ruin my own grass. And I
I was gonna say, yeah.
my dad's like, you should do it. I'm like, well, I have this, so this is the same thing, and I don't have to worry about ruining my grass. But yeah, I'm about 45 feet out, and I've just been working on loft the last couple of weeks, and getting pretty good. My golf game might be the best it's looked in 20 years. So thank you to KDT Landscaping for helping. They're never going to see our show, so I'll just say thank you. Couple things, and then we can get back to some Canucks talk, because we've been a bit of a Debbie Downer, but I mean, rightfully so. This team has been freaking down.
We always seem to our pods line up after just like a whipping.
Yeah,
that seems to happen.
Or really good, and like here's all the things that are going well. They're not going well right now.
We're gonna start talking about Abbotsford, I think, or something like that. Maybe
we might need to, yeah, and their jerseys. We've talked about mashed potatoes ad nauseum on the show.
Extremely average, below average.
But there's another kind of potato making waves in the social universe. Good friends of the show, good friends of my stomach and my taste buds, Arby's, is coming out with an extremely limited run of curly fries and regular fries vodka. And I am so here for this. I mean, potatoes, vodka.
You're here for Arby's vodka?
Absolutely, I am. I'm never going to get my hands on it because it's only available in the States. And even if I tried, it'd probably cost me like $300 for a bottle.
Like, I don't know why.
But there's a part of you've had the Arby's curly fries. I know you have.
Yeah, I love them. They're great.
So there's a part of you thinking like they wouldn't make it to taste bad.
Man,
right?
I'm not with you on this, Ryan.
I feel like you need to be.
I don't think I support any fast food chain trying to make like high-end liquor or spirits or anything like that.
Not even Arby's.
No.
Do they bring the meats though?
Maybe if somebody said like, "Oh, we've got vodka flavored like Oreo Blizzard."
Okay.
But if it was Dairy Queen making it, no way.
Well, Arby's isn't making it. They're partnering with a vodka company. I should clarify that would be ridiculous.
If the vodka company is like Smirnoff, I'm still out.
Okay. You're entitled to an opinion. It's wrong, but that's okay.
I mean,
wrong.
it's neat, yeah, but it's like, no,
Should
I
they?
don't know.
No, it's like one of those things. No one asked if they could, or it should have been if they should. So
Yeah, like
I
we've got a good thing going with our horsey sauce and Arby's sauce. Like I was thinking about expanding into vodka.
exactly. This is where things need to be. I saw it. I'm thinking, yes, I like your sweatshirts that you've come up with, and you've still not gifted me one Arby's. And yet, I need this vodka in my life because you know it's going to come out,
Did
and
you
there's
really
going to be
like
the first.
Arby's sweatshirts? You're like a little bit upset. You're not repping Arby's gear on the
Haven't
regular.
you seen the meat sweatshirt that they have? And there's a meat sweatsuit. It's like all like it's so awfully amazing.
I mean, that's like it's kind of smart. I'll give them that meat sweats.
And it's on par for my brand.
Have you've seen the KFC Twitter thing, right?
Probably.
Like so.
The following.
KFC is following 7 guys named Herb and
the
all of the Spice Girls. Like that's I'm down for that.
That's
like
clever.
That stuff.
That's clever.
I like the clever stuff. Speaking of clever stuff, the Colorado Avalanche using the Mario Big.
They've been doing that for a couple of years, but they reminded me of it yesterday. Yeah,
that's really smart. I'm all for that stuff. I wish the Canucks were a little bit smarter with that stuff.
They used to be. You know who's really good at it is Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas knows what's up.
Tweet groups.
Vegas knows what's up. Oh, Carolina knows what's up.
I think Vegas does that too. I think they do the power up. I'm pretty sure.
What do you call it? Power up? Do you call it or big?
Big.
They call it big.
They do big.
Just go get big.
I'm already big thinking about those Arby's vodkas. Heyo. Okay. Well, enough fun's been had. I wanted to get. I mean, it's you and me, so I got a few things. We've gone through a lot of them. Let's maybe do a little bit of.
I got one thing. So this is just popping up on Twitter now. So I posted my sort of annual Christmas movie thing, right?
Right.
Where you can you see the list of Christmas movies and you can only pick 3, right?
Okay.
And it's like
say it louder for the peeps in the back.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, right? I mean, there's I can't remember the other one with the train. That's not my.
Yeah, that one.
Right.
Polar
there's
Express.
Elf,
Polar Express.
Elf, Miracle on 34th, Rudolph, Christmas Story, Home Alone. You're looking at the new version of Grinch. Life. Yeah. Santa Claus, It's a Wonderful Life, Die Hard, and Charlie Brown Christmas Tree. And it's like you can only pick 3.
I'm looking at it, yeah.
So naturally mine was you can't go any better than Chevy Chase, my opinion, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
Number 2's got to be Elf.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And number 3 was tough. Number 3 I picked Home Alone.
Okay. Yeah.
But like, like the Grinch and Die Hard are up there for me. And so then it comes out.
Old Grinch. It can't be new Grinch.
And I like them both.
Well,
then it comes out in conversation. Guys, sorry, this list is incomplete. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. So are you of the opinion that Die Hard is a Christmas movie or nah?
So here's the thing. I've been on shows before. I was on Kids on the Escalator last year when we were talking about Christmas movies, and I joked, I'm like, well, Step Brothers, obviously, because there's like a half Christmas scene in there. It doesn't make it a Christmas movie. Die Hard, just because it happened at Christmas, doesn't make it a Christmas movie. All these other movies are based on the event of Christmas. Just because something happens in December or that you see, oh, there's a Christmas tree, it doesn't make it Christmas. Let's go through this quickly. National Lampoon's Vacation, or this Christmas Vacation, right?
That's the go.
It's got its name in it. Polar Express. It's all about Christmas. They're going to meet Santa Claus. Elf, about Christmas. Miracle on 34th. It's about Santa Claus going on trial. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I heard he's a deer that has a red nose that hangs out with Santa at Christmas. What was the next one? Number 6. Who's the nerdy kid? I haven't seen that one.
That's a Christmas Story.
Christmas Story. It's in the name. Home Alone. They're all at Christmas. His family's awful, but they're all at Christmas. If you've seen one, it's at Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. It ends on Christmas morning, both times. Presents, the big tree, the hotel, or back in Chicago. Christmas movie. Grinch turns into Santa Claus. Christmas. The Santa Claus. It's in the name. It's at Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life. Again, I've probably seen a bit of that, but it's about Christmas. Charlie Brown, Christmas. Die Hard. There's nothing Christmas about it other than the fact there is Christmas kind of
Both of them,
happening.
Die Hard 1 and 2, were set during Christmas, trying to get home for Christmas, but fucking Nakatomi Plaza.
It's not Christmas.
Whatever. You know
And
what?
it's people are ridiculous.
This is very Arby's vodka that I'm having right now, and I don't like it.
So wait, so you're saying that it is a Christmas movie?
I think it's a Christmas movie, yeah. I think it's more of a Christmas movie than, say, Gremlins.
All right. Even though Gremlins, they were wearing Christmas hats. Oh, no, he was wearing a Christmas hat in one of these, wasn't he?
Anyways, I think it's an interesting post. I'm going to post a poll up here later, so when you can get on and vote, we'll be curious to see what this one ranks out as. I think it's going to pass as a Christmas movie. I think it's going to win out.
I think, well, like, we know this comes up every year. Like, do you believe this? If we went off air, you just, like, ran and just want to be the devil's advocate. Do you believe this in your heart of hearts?
I mean, I guess the first time I watched it was Christmas. So I associate it as a Christmas movie, yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I identify as a Rastafarian, Pastafarian.
Pastafarian. I like you, though. You're still my buddy, and that's fine. Couple final things.
Hey, if you can believe that the earth is flat, you can go ahead and think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. What was that?
I have no idea. Was that on your house or mine?
That was not my house.
Oh, boy. I feel like I'm going to be in trouble at some point. Oh, boy. Connor Garland. Is he, like, the best thing going for this team aside from Thatcher Demko right now?
Yeah, I'd say it's he and Thatcher. I mean, with like, maybe a dose of Bo and Höglander.
Like his spinoramas, his little pirouettes, his like fake backs, fake forward, fake back again.
He's very Connor Banks right now.
The things he's
very
doing,
Adam Banks.
The things he's doing on the ice are just like they're magic. They're majestic. They really are. Like he's bringing a beauty to the sport that we have not seen since our forefathers, Pavel Bure and Teemu Selanne. And even then, they didn't make it look that pretty.
Whoa.
The beauty part, not the talent part.
The same beauty as Teemu and Pav? Like
That's right. That's right.
I think it's just been a long time since you've seen those guys play, Ryan.
It probably has.
I'll let you take that back.
Okay, I'm going to wheel it back, and I'm going to use, I don't know, the way he moves away from defenders, the way he just does his little spins and stuff, that's hard to do with shoes. And he's doing it in skates around professional athletes. And he makes it look easy, and then he creates space. Like Quinn Hughes isn't even doing it that nicely. And Quinn Hughes does a pretty good job. So I'm just saying, like, I am all here for Connor Garland. I don't even think we're going to do a dudes and guys this week because
there's no dudes.
I mean,
we've already named dudes on this team.
We've named the two, basically.
I after that loss, I can't even say that Connor Garland was a dude. After that game.
That's also fair. So everyone's a guy. I don't know. And we've talked about like shaking it up. Should they be shaking it up? I don't know. Like this team is just like it's so freaking frustrating because I mean, look at this. I'm wearing this in honor of the Canucks today. Dana Mergen getting punched in the face by. Or no, was it Dana? Yeah, it was.
How would you like to be Dana Merzen? Like, you're the guy that got punched in the face by Wayne.
And he's on a T-shirt. I mean, he had some good times.
Did Dana Merzen have good times?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess he had some good times.
I mean, he played NHL hockey and he got paid like it, so.
Yeah, that's true.
He's probably doing better than you and I.
Oh, that's a fact.
Most likely. So we mentioned, we're not going to do dudes and guys this week. I would like to get a shout out to our sponsor legally next week, Manscaped. If you didn't know and you hadn't seen us on Twitter already, Manscaped is going to be trimming away the bad stuff from our podcast and making sure we're nice and clean, nice and, we're going to be the largest podcast.
It's a lot like yard maintenance, right? And you have this nice deck and you want to be able to show it off and you got a bunch of shrubbery that comes up during the spring and you want to be able to shave the bushes around your deck to make it look bigger, and you want to be able to have house parties on it and you want to be able to have a good time, and you can't do that if your deck is like full of bush and shrubbery, right? You got to take care of that. You got to make it look nice.
I'm all about these house parties you speak of. I don't know if you got your package, and again, we'll get into it more next week. But
I did, yeah.
so I went like all out. I'm like, I had been waiting because I knew it was coming. I've been waiting. So I freaking open this box. I'm like, all right, we're getting this baby charged up. We're going to freaking town. We're going, like, I'm a hairy mess, as you all know. And I'm freaking like, let's freaking go flying V. Let's go, let's bushwhack. Let's go, let's get this done. The thing's amazing. It's got a light on it. Not like you need to use in the dark, but you know what? When you're looking, like, maybe you got ingrown hair down there. You don't know. Like, sometimes we neglect the shrubbery. We neglect the tree, and sometimes it's good. It's technical. It's safe to use. There's a cool pair of boxers in there. Basically, work like some of the cool brands that are out there. So you get a little bit of swag as well. And then
low key, the deodorant and the revitalizer though.
And I'm getting there. So so first of all, the revitalizer, you're going to enjoy it the second time because the first time it does some things for you. It gets you to a place. So we'll leave it at that for this week. Let's just say it works very well in the tingly area. So, but the crop preserver, the ball deodorant, this is a game changer for me because I've never really done that. Like I brought up with Old Spice and a few of the other ones, like, oh yeah, we want you to use it everywhere. You know what, Manscaped, you guys get it. Like, you put that stuff on, you're like, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. There will be no chafing today. I can be wearing jeans. I can be wearing sweatpants. I can be wearing whatever. I am freaking Golden Axe. I am, freaking Sega Genesis down there.
Golden Axe.
Yeah. I'm freaking Sega Genesis. I'm going for it. I'm NBA Jam. He's heating up. But no, he's not heating up. Things are nice and clean, nice and cool down there. I feel like more companies should have been figuring this thing out because Manscaped, you got a good thing going.
Hey, so they know what's up.
If you know what, and if you do it right, you'll know what's up instead of it's kind of a mess down there. So make sure you go to manscaped.com, enter it PP20 because if you're on the PP1 podcast, PP's helping PPs basically is how we're going to look at this. PP20, get 20% off at checkout. I think they've even got another deal going on right now, so you can like max out and just freaking scape the man the scape. That was more of a promo than I think they were looking for. But this is a free one because I feel so good about what they've offered us. And I think more people need to get in on this because I've been hearing these promo codes. I've been hearing these ads and all the podcasts. I thought there's got to be something to this if everybody wants to be involved. We're involved. Frick, I'm so happy. Like things are going well in the scaping business over at the Hank House. And I'm quite all here for it. So that's my 2 cents for Manscaped. I don't know if you're going to be as forthcoming, but
I mean, it's quite simple, really. Just hook
trims
up
your
with
nuts.
Manscaped, your balls will thank you.
They do, and it's weird because one of mine thanked me. I'm like, that's weird. They've never talked before, so maybe it's like one of those. It's like a magic potion. Oh my goodness, we've had a lot of fun. It is Friday, so I want to let you go. I got to order some food. Keep apparently whatever the heck's going on upstairs in check. Any final words for our listeners, our viewers of the PP1 podcast? Ted.
Just sort it out. And like whoever you are, if you're a Canucks fan and you're a Benning guy, or you're pro Benning, or you're not Benning, or you're pro green, or you're not pro green, or you support Aquilini, I don't know any of those guys, but like just give it a long look and be serious. Do you think that this is the team that can do something, or do you think that major changes need to be made? And like be realistic. Where do these changes need to be coming from? Because I'd be curious to know where.
I think we need to get in on that. I think we need to post that because where are these changes coming from? There's so many things, but if they all happen, then what?
Then what?
There needs to be a game plan. That's all I'm saying as well. So on behalf of Ted, I'm Ryan. Brady is here in spirit. This is the PP1 podcast. I believe we just deconstructed the Vancouver Canucks. Enjoy your weekend. Peace out.